Common sense. Nick, how'd you get started in reggae?
Well, I got started in reggae as a child. My parents were sort of hippies, back in the 60s. I was born in the 60s, and my dad had a Bob Marley album, and reggae, kids always love reggae. So I just kind of got attached to that album and ended up having like No Woman No Cry be my favorite song when I was about 9. Just always loved reggae. I don't know what caused me to decide that. I remember that in high school when I was about 14, I remember hearing some of the other kids start listening to Bob Marley. I was like, oh my God, I love that. That's my, So that kind of boosted me into it. And just I've always been pretty, supportive of legalizing marijuana because I think that's a ridiculous law for people. But reggae's not about marijuana. Reggae's just, it's a kind of music that came from the Caribbean. It's associated with that. It's mostly in equal rights. I think I've always been a little bit rebellious towards society, and I think it's a kind of a rebel music.
Yeah.
Like there's so many, in my mind, there's so many stupid laws and stupid religions and religious banter that just makes me ill. So I think reggae lends itself to fighting against that sort of thing.
So you guys are playing in Doheny Days coming up this weekend. Is this your first time, or have you guys played there before?
Doheny Days, they haven't had one for 7 years or something like that. And before that, we probably played 4 or 5 of them, maybe 3 or 4 in a row, and a year off and then play. And it's always just a great event, and just good vibes, no trouble usually. So I'm looking forward to playing Doheny Days this year.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to watch you guys play. How is Common Sense bringing a unique flavor to reggae? Because I know that reggae is very popular around here.
I've always blended reggae with things. I've never tried to. Early, maybe when I was 18 or 19, first started Common Sense, I'd sing with a Jamaican accent and say like, "Hi, how you feeling?" and all these kind of reggae things. But then I kind of decided at one point, as I got a little bit older, that I was just going to be myself and just use reggae as kind of a canvas to my American music over that I was raised with. Stevie Wonder music, Jimi Hendrix, Led Zeppelin, all these kind of music that I grew up with, even modern music that I love. Alice in Chains kind of guys, just put rock over it. But I've always been a big English beat fan, so I like ska over it, and I like Selector and Madness guys, and all those kind of bands back in the day. And even like Rancid, I love those guys. We used to play with No Doubt a lot, and they played ska, and then they kind of went pop-ish reggae ska. They did really well, so stuff from there.
So you have a ton of influences
for music. It's American music mixed with what I loved, which was reggae. Yeah. And mostly like third world Bob Marley, old school reggae, Gregory Isaacs, like the old school Rockers album, all old school stuff.
Do you guys have a plan for a new album going up?
We just went into the Hurley studio a few months back. They have a really nice studio in there, and we recorded 15 songs. In the process of mixing them, but with Labor Day and all the things that are going on, and in between gigs, and we have families and that kind of stuff. We're starting to mix it probably at the end of this week, and should be done in a month.
Oh, awesome!
Yeah, so it's already recorded. We just got to go in there. I got a couple more vocals to do, a couple backups, and a couple little parts, but most of this mixes. So I'm so excited to get it out. Some of our best songs ever. People have been. It's been I've written a couple songs about a year and a half ago. People are just cringing. Our fans are cringing for.
Yeah.
We have a song called "In This Life" that people just cringe for, so I really need to get in there and start recording, start mixing.
What's the name of the album?
We don't have a name yet. It's just gonna be Common Sense, our newest album. So I call it our newest album. That's a good name for it. You can have one like that. So I'm not sure what we're gonna call it yet.
Cool. So how did Common Sense form? I know you guys have been around since 1986.
Yeah, we actually had our first gig in 1986 on Del Playa at UC Santa Barbara. And I just asked my friend Mark Taub, who was a bass player in this band called The Basics, who toured with General Public back in the day. I don't know, that was the English Beats band. Mm-hmm. And I said, hey, let's be in a band. He's like, okay, whatever you say, because from high school he remembers me. And we went around to all the practice rooms and listened to people. And UCFD, and then we played San Diego. So I played in Harley after that. street scene. And just things like that. Just built a following slowly. We're playing 5-6 nights a week from like 1989 to about 2003.
Wow.
Yeah, and we got a record deal that kind of killed our whole career. Got a deal with Virgin Records, and we started playing free gigs where our fans weren't, and we started listening to their marketing and not our own parts.
No.
And it was not. It was a lesson. It's kind of a thing that happened to 99% of all bands who've ever been signed.
Yeah.
1% gets to be no doubt. You know.
Yeah. So, what is your advice for new musicians starting out?
I think right now is an awesome time for new musicians starting out because of YouTube, because the record labels are trying to ask normal people how to promote their stuff on YouTube. You know, the mafia's not really running it, you know, so to speak, anymore. So I think social networking and all that has opened up so many opportunities. Look at Justin Bieber. I mean, that guy did it himself from a little child from his own room, made himself a career. And that's really possible now for anybody, I think. So social networking and being diligent and remembering that overnight success is a lot more evasive than hard work. So if you just work your ass off, you know, post your stuff all the time, make videos on your own, on your iMovies, make your own music on GarageBand, get Pro Tools, get whatever you can do, you know, just make your own music, promote yourself through social networking, and just keep at it and never let down. And I think that will prove to be the best way to make a nice career for yourself in this day and age. It could be huge. Unless you suck.
Well,
diligence can still help that, I guess.
Thank you so much, Nick. I really look forward to watching you guys play at Doheny Days. And you guys can check out the videos from Doheny Days. We will be filming them. You can find them on warfest.com, also on YouTube, and then also check out the written review that I will be doing on Doheny Days.
Yeah.